watch over me while you choose who you're going to be.
Hey, what's going on everybody? Mala here. I've talked to you guys about these headphones before when you guys asked me for recommendations on closed back pair of headphones, and these are the Audio-Technica ATH-M40Xs, my go-to headphones for when I need something that's closed back. And quite honestly, I get kind of bummed out that most people talk about Audio-Technicas going for the M50Xs, which are the bigger brother. They are $50 more expensive, but I still think they are a downgrade compared to these ones. But between the two, these are where it's at. Seriously. But let's take a look at all those 5 main points about any headphone as we usually do, going firstly and foremost through pricing, because budget. I said that the M50Xs are $50 more expensive than these ones. Those cost $150, these go usually for $100. And they are the equivalent of the SHP 9500s in the same price category-ish sort of thing. And frankly, if you had $600 to spend on headphones and you wanted to buy a closed pair, I would still recommend these guys over basically everything else until you reached like $1,500. But those things are on a completely different level, so it's an entirely new discussion. Anyway, as we just talked, these are closed back pair of headphones. So the 40mm neodymium drivers are closed in and they're not going to leak any sound outwards while you're listening, and they're not going to let anything else leak into what you're listening as well. It's a very different experience from using an open back one like the SHPs, but I feel like they still complement each other nicely and they sound really close to one another. I find like they are almost like the same sound experience overall, balanced with the mids, highs, and low end and stuff like that, one being closed and one being opened. The soundstage is obviously not as wide as the SHPs, but it's definitely wider than what I would expect from something that's built like this. Third, impedance or power. And keeping with the trend of every other headphone we looked at so far, these are also easy to drive. The comparisons you guys are going to listen to in a bit were actually recorded with these guys plugged into my OnePlus 3T. But I did find a little bit of a difference in volume. The SHPs were a little higher than the ATH-M40Xs. And since I was cranking up the volume to maximum, and I was looking for that difference, I kind of found it because of that, but I don't think you guys would actually perceive that easily enough. So just saying, they're easy to drive. Fourth, built-in comfort, and they are very, very well built. It is basically plastic overall and all around. The headband seems to be like a thick slab of rubber, and the padding on it, I feel like it could be a little more generous, but since they're not exactly heavy, it's not going to weigh in too much on your head. They are comfortable overall. And the padding on the ear cushions is pretty nice. I didn't find it to be too shallow as other people do, but they're easily swappable, so if you want to put in something that's thicker or deeper or with a different material, it's easy to do so. But the stock ones are leather, do a very good job isolating from your environment, and I think they feel pretty good. Another nice thing too is that they fold, so it's easier to, stick in your backpack and make it smaller to pack it in for travel. And lastly, still on the build, it comes with 2 different wires. One of them is coiled, the other is a straight one, and the guy who lended me these actually lost the coiled one, so I can show you. But both of them have terminations like these. On one end, a 3.5mm jack with a screw so you can put in a 1/4" adapter if you want, and on the other, a smaller proprietary something that goes in at an angle and twists to lock. It's going to be very tightly locked, so it's not going to be yanked out of your headphones if you accidentally push on it. But I feel like it would have been a better option if both ends were 3.5mm jacks, because if you break the cable or lose a cable or just plain want something that's smaller and not 3 meters long, you could just swap it out for something different. This way you're kind of stuck with Audio-Technica gear. And lastly, since everything else is basically out the window if they don't sound good, let's talk about sound quality. I already talked about how I feel like they are very close to the SHP 9500s, so that should give you guys a base to understand that I really like how they sound.
You're here for heroes with no distraction, so don't wait, hit quick play and get straight to the action. It's bastion blasting baskets of bullets and factions. The turret looks back and in fashion. Reinhardt will ride hard as a hammer on a stallion. Chivalry's alive, but he's not asking if he can marry her. Valiant as Farah, human jump jet Harrier, blasting a barrage with the power to sing Gallia. Zarya singing an aria, bringing a cannon and flinging a barrier. Strong as a mountain, benching 1,000 pounds, about to be able to carry. And no matter whatever you are, it's sweating really as hard as a gorilla in armor. We're winning an instant when Winston's bananas. Winston witness and Yata send out an orb of harmony, destruction or discord. Forged in the core of war is Augur. Watch him erect a new form of dwarf born. Here's a fun fact out in the outback jug rack. TikTok boomed and kaboom like the kick on this drum track. And when you reckon this rap's run amok, I'll pull a roadhog and drag you right back with the hook.
Watch over me while you choose who you're going to be.
Again, the soundstage is not as wide. It is punchier because it is a closed back pair of headphones, so the low end is right there on your ears. You're gonna feel it more than with an open pair, but I think it's really crisp and clear on the mids, the highs, the lows. Everything is well balanced. It's not flat. There's a little color here and there, a little flare. I really like how they sound. And that's about it. The M40Xs are an awesome pair of headphones, and if you want a close pair and you don't want to spend a fortune, these are your go-to. I highly recommend them. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this quick look at the Audio-Technica ATH-M40Xs. If you did, leave any comments or suggestions down below as usual. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.